What's up, you freaking geniuses? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to convert proper, improper, and mixed fractions into decimals. All right, it's not too bad. So let's start with this first example right here, 7 over 10. So this is a proper fraction, right? How do you turn this into a decimal? Well, all you have to remember is that fractions are just division problems, okay? So 7 over 10 is the same thing as 7 divided by 10. Or I could write this as 7 divided by 10. Now you might notice that 10 doesn't go into 7, right? So what we have to do is put a decimal right here and then a 0, okay? And the reason we put a decimal here is because decimals always come at the end of whole numbers, right? So 7 is a whole number, so I know there's a decimal right there at the end of it. Okay, so now instead of saying, does 10 go into 7, you ask yourself, does 10 go into 70? Yes, it does. How many times? 7 times. And then 7 times 10 is 70. You subtract 70 from 70, and that gives you a remainder of 0. Okay, now we're almost done. One more thing that we have to do is, remember your decimal right here? Make sure you bring it straight up to your answer right there, okay? So your answer right here is 0.7, but the more proper way of writing this would just be 0.7, okay? So 7 over 10 written as a decimal would be 0.7. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too bad. Let's go to the next example. So here we have 15 over 4. So how do you convert this into a decimal? Well, again, just remember that this is just a division problem, okay? So 15 over 4 is the same thing as 15 divided by 4, or again, we can write it like this, which is preferred, 15 divided by 4. Okay, and remember, decimals come at the end of whole numbers, right? So you're always going to put your decimal right here at the end of the whole number. Okay, so now let's divide this. So 4 goes into 15 3 times, right? And then 3 times 4 is 12. You subtract, and you get 3, right? 15 minus 12 is equal to 3. Now, we don't have a number over here, but we'll put a 0, right? Just like we put a 0 over here, same thing. And then we'll bring this 0 straight down. Okay, now 4 goes into 30 7 times. And then 7 times 4 is equal to 28. And then you subtract, and you get 2. Okay, and again, I don't have another number here, so I'll put another 0 and bring that one straight down to right there. And I'll extend this a little bit. Okay, now 4 goes into 20 how many times? 5 times. And then 5 times 4 is 20. And then you subtract 20 minus 20, and you have a 0 remainder. Okay, so your answer up here is 375. But again, don't forget your decimal right here, okay? So all you do is bring it straight up and put it in your answer right there. So your answer right here is 3.75. So 15 over 4 as a decimal is 3.75. Okay, now let's do one more example, and it's this mixed fraction up here. Okay, so here we have 13.5, right? So your whole number right here is going to be, well, the whole number part of your decimal. Okay, so just like in the previous problem, we got a 3 right here, right? So in this problem, it's going to be a 13. And then the part that actually makes up the decimal, so in the last problem it was 0.75, we're going to get that from the fraction right here, so 1 over 2. So remember, your fraction is just like a division problem, right? So 1 over 2 is the same thing as 1 divided by 2, or again, written like this, right? 1 divided by 2. Now again, you can see 2 doesn't go into 1, right? But we know 1 is a whole number, so we know we put a decimal at the end of it, and then we'll just put a 0 right there, okay? So instead of asking yourself, does 2 go into 1, you're going to ask yourself, does 2 go into 10? And it does, right? How many times? 5 times. And then you do 5 times 2, which is 10. You subtract, and you get a 0 remainder. Okay, and then remember, our answer up here isn't 5. We still have to bring up our decimal, right? So since it's right here, you just bring it straight up right there. So your answer right here is 0.5. But remember, the proper way of writing this type of decimal is 0.5. Okay, just like in the first example, we had 0.7. In this one, we have 0.5. Okay, so 13.5 written as a decimal would be 13.5. Okay, because remember, this is your whole number, right? So that's why we put it right there in the whole number part. And then the fraction 1/2, written as a decimal, is 0.5, right? Which is why we put it right there. All right, guys, so that is how you convert fractions to decimals. So I hope the examples were helpful. If they were, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. And if you still have any other questions, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try my best to help you out. Also, there's a playlist attached at the end of the video, so if there's any other topics you need help with, definitely check that out, and I'll see you there.